Good evening, everyone. I'm here with Sandra, Scott, Blake, and Meredith. You can't see Meredith, but you can see me, Sandra, and Blake right now. And we are going to be talking about how to brand yourself and get yourself a good website today, and really just marketing in general. So one thing that Sandra and I have been talking about recently is how important, how imperative it is. And I can't tell you how often I search for residential care homes across the United States. And the one thing that is most common is that no one has a website, or they can't even be found online. And if you can, it's some weird halfway advertisement from a website who obviously doesn't even work with you directly. They just got your information from a directory and put you on there and don't know anything about you. So I can't tell you how important it is for you guys to actually get yourself branded and get yourself known on the World Wide Web. I personally owned two businesses, small businesses here in Arizona, and I didn't pay attention to my marketing. And I can tell you that that probably was the demise of my businesses, right? Like, I didn't think it was worth spending the money on. I built my website from some template that it was great, but I didn't understand SEO. It didn't drive any traffic when people researched keywords. It didn't do anything for me to bring me business other than for me to say, I have a website. So it's very, very important to work with somebody like Sandra Scott and the Scott Marketing and Consulting Group. So given that information, I'm going to hand things over to Sandra. If anyone has questions, go ahead and type it over in the right-hand side. There's a drop-down bar that says questions. I'll figure everything out for you. If you're having any issues, I'll answer in there. And I'll also prompt Sandra to answer those questions at the end of this webinar.
Great. Thank you so much, Molly. We really appreciate it. Welcome, everyone. Tonight, we're going to be talking about branding your website and how to really be found. And first, we want to thank each of you for joining us this evening. We're grateful for your time, as you've all had a really long day, we know. And that's why we've put together a presentation for you that we hope you find informative, helpful, and fun. We're going to start by discussing a branded website, search engine optimization, and how you can be found, followed by a brief question and answer period so that we can end on time and help you get back to your families and get that rest that you deserve. So as Molly said, if there are any questions that we weren't able to answer during the presentation, please feel free to jot them down, and Molly is going to moderate to make sure that we're able to get to your answers or get to your questions during the Q&A. So first, let's talk about me and who we are at SMCG along with my team. I have over 20 years sales and marketing leadership experience. I'm a former vice president of sales and marketing of 3 CCRCs, and having a hospitality background, I'm 100% committed to delivering great customer service with the end user in mind. Meredith is our website development director, and Meredith specializes in WordPress web development and mobile-friendly design. She thinks much like me, customer-centric, so not only do her websites look great, they instill trust in your brand. And then also joining us tonight is Blake Whitford. He is our SEO specialist and manager. Blake has over 10 years in the digital marketing and SEO space, and as an SEO expert, he utilizes all the tools available to enhance brand awareness and help organizations be found. And before we get into the presentation further, I wanted to help you understand the why behind our company and why a senior living consulting group like ours is different from others you perhaps have heard of or worked with. And I've worked with them all, the large ones, the multi-million-dollar, the six-figure contracts. And why we started SMCG is to provide a service for an unmet need that existed in the marketplace, to be the senior living consulting firm that understands what it's like to walk in your shoes. And we really do. One that really cares, one that understands every dollar spent must tie back to an ROI, and one that will not leave you paying for the work, but doing it all yourself. What differentiates us from other firms is the fact that we've served in the senior living roles and we've had to be responsible for census and work within a budget. We understand that for example, your 16-unit residential care home, the compounded loss of just 2 vacant apartments can translate into thousands of dollars in 1 quarter, leaving it harder for you to invest in the physical plant, provide raises for your wonderful caregivers, and many other things like investing in activities that would improve the quality of life for your residents. We're here to help you and really make an impact for you in your residential care home and the legacy you'd like to leave. So we have a wide array of services we offer our clients. We offer high quality and measurable services, and that's really key, measurable, that support your census goals. One of those is sale coaching and training. We provide on-site and online sales coaching and caregiver staff training to help you achieve your occupancy goals. That also includes dementia training. We have on staff a really great experienced RN dementia care practitioner. Website development, we specialize in web design that will not only convert visitors today, but will expand and grow your future needs. SEO analytics, we implement the practice of increasing the quantity and the quality of traffic to your site through organic search engine results. So you're not relying upon the pay-per-click ads that cost every time someone clicks on it. And then we offer digital strategy and media. We select the best social platforms for each community to increase lead generation within your target audiences based on integrated social media campaigns and public relations. But what we're going to speak specifically to tonight is website development and SEO and analytics. Overall, our experienced marketing professionals, SEO experts, expert website developers, social media strategists, skilled content writers are all on our team to help you build your brand, raise awareness, and convert prospects to residents. So, without further ado, let's talk about how you can be found. Tonight, we'll take you through the stages of being found to ensure your retirement community not only meets budgeted revenues, but can exceed them with a wait list. And that's what I tell all of my clients. You just don't want to fill your apartment home or your residential care home for today. You want to ensure that should you have an unexpected move out or attrition due to natural causes, you have a wait list. So you're not waiting 30 days, as we said, with compounded losses to try and wait on that next referral to fill that gap. So let's begin with a poll. And Molly will load that poll for us. You'll see that on your screen. We're just going to get a little bit of information from you to see where we're at in terms of the responsibilities you have on your shoulders. So what percentage of small business owners are personally responsible for 3 or more of the following areas of their business? Operations, finance, sales, marketing, human resources, customer service, product development, or IT. If you can just take a moment to answer that for us, that would be wonderful. Okay, responses are still being collected, but I see an overwhelming majority of you are spot on. 57% said B, 66%, and that is absolutely right. Staggering statistic, I know. You have a lot on your plate. So that's why we're here talking to you today. How does a small business with its operational responsibilities stay on top of sales and marketing to ensure it maintains a competitive edge while attracting prospects and building value to exceed budgeted revenue? The answer lies in an optimized website that speaks to your target market. According to the National Center for Assisted Living, there are 28,900 assisted living and residential care communities in the US. So being found is more important than ever, and rising above that noise is key. The marketing world is dynamic and ever-changing. That's why it's critical your residential care community stays up to date with new developments in the industry and avoid falling behind while your competitors stay ahead of the curve. 97% of consumers go online to find a local business or local service, just like yours. Your primary market area where your residents are going to come from are in your local area. If your community does not presently have a website, then you have to ask yourself, how do the people who need and deserve your care find you? They will perhaps just rely on word of mouth or professional referrals like their doctor or a social worker if need be to find you. And if you have a website, is it optimized to make sure that you can be found? Today's senior living is more competitive than ever, and studies show that 70 to 80% of people research a company online before visiting a small business or making a purchase with them. So, with 10,000 people 65 and older retiring every day, it's important to make sure your residential retirement community can be found by the people who need the wonderful care they deserve and that you provide. So let's take a look at what our seniors and their families may be thinking. What are your customers thinking when they go online to try and find a community? When seniors, family members, and friends search for a retirement community, they often do not know where to start, and that's the truth. You've heard it many times. Researching a move is overwhelming and a confusing experience. They have a need for information and guidance, and they need to find helpful information about your community and what to expect in regards to next steps. As such, they'll turn to Google or any other search engine for guidance and information they need to help answer their questions. And they'll type in a few keywords or sentences and click on the top results. And they'll pursue those sites to find the information that provides the most helpful information, answers their question, and provide the guidance that they're looking for. They also want to trust. Prospects and family members are handling a lot, and some for the very first time. It's either a life-changing event, a hospitalization, or recognition of need or limitations that have brought them to seek help, your help. And they want to know that they matter and they want to trust you. They also want to find value in the information you're providing them online. So all prospects and their family members want to make sure that you provide value for what they're seeking. It's not just about activities and services. It has to be a needs match, and that warm fuzzies, those non-tangibles that build value and outweigh concerns over price points every time. So we were talking earlier about COVID-19 and how it's really impacted the senior living realm. According to a recent Google Trends report, searches for assisted living near me with the words near me saw an accelerated increase during COVID-19. As you can see, sessions, and a session is defined as a group of interactions I, as a user, would take given any one time on a website, were up 11.6%, and the number of total inquiries either through phone or online form submissions was up almost 26%. For organizations with websites, this provides a competitive advantage to being found and increasing your occupancy and building a wait list over other residential retirement communities who rely on word of mouth or professional third-party referrals, which you have to pay for. When asked about the top 2 digital marketing priorities for small businesses, 51.3% of owners said that driving sales and 48% said building brand awareness was the most important to them. With this in mind, it's important to understand how having a branded website can help you achieve both sales goals and increase brand awareness. As I mentioned, during COVID-19, searches for assisted living saw an accelerated increase with the words near me and cost of included in their search. As you can see from the graph on your screen, senior living organizations that have a branded website, not a referral service that asks you to claim a listing, which there are many, were able to realize an increase in inquiries in all levels of care, with the exception of memory care, via their website and social media links, while traditional and proven marketing channels didn't prove to be effective because of the pandemic. So to discuss how effective your website can be and how to attract and convert prospects, I'd like to introduce Meredith, who will be discussing website development with you.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm going to talk about website design and why it's important to have one. A branded website serves not only as a tool to attract visitors to your residential retirement community, but to convert them as well. So 97% of consumers go online to find a local business or service. The good news is that 90% of the searchers haven't made up their mind about their brand before they start. So let's take another poll that Molly will present for you on your screen. How long does it take for a client to form an opinion about a website to determine if they will stay or leave? 3 seconds, 1 minute, 1/10 of a second. Okay, how are we looking over there?
83% said 3 seconds, and 17% said 1/10 of a second, with 0 saying a minute.
Well, okay, so the answer is actually C, 1/10 of a second. It's hard to believe, but things happen very quickly. It only takes 1/10 of a second to form a first impression about a website. People have a choice. If they're on your website and they don't immediately understand the value in a few seconds, you've lost your chance to convert them into a customer. That's why smart website design is important for both the user experience and programming end of things. When developing a website, ask yourself, what is the human problem you're trying to solve? And how can your solution be conveyed in a message that builds value and also resonates with your prospects? A powerful story is at the heart of your marketing plan, which should therefore translate to your website as a component of your brand. So communicating your message clearly isn't always as easy as it sounds. It's a common mistake to believe your visitors see your website the way you do and already know the benefits that you offer. They most likely do not, so educating them is dependent upon that website messaging. You need a well thought out plan to be found, and a website is your opportunity to share not only who you are, but what you do best. And your website should be as unique as your brand. This is your opportunity to share not only who you are, but what you do and the care you provide. Your website needs to be found, should attract prospective residents and lead them through that buyer's journey while building trust and value. Think about how your visitors will navigate through your website. It's an extension of you and your brand. This leads for a great opportunity to share your website with visitors and how you care through content messaging. So you can showcase your dedicated staff, your thriving residents, all through the use of real life photos. You can blog about your activities and even share a calendar of events. So good web design will not miss any opportunity to reinforce your messaging and your message. So your residential care home website, again, is an extension of your brand. And we bring that brand to life through color, styling, rich photos, and most importantly, that messaging. But it doesn't end there. After coding your website, we can introduce a selection of website enhancements that can not only improve visitor experience and gain more leads, but even make your website user-friendly for people with disabilities. So we include personalized branded design, personalized interaction, and enhanced user experience through integration. So if anyone has ever looked at the source code in a browser, that's pretty much web development is all about. It's writing code. And to make sure your website is found online, there are elements we must include. So such as page titles, meta descriptions, particular headings, having a sitemap so Google can find all your pages, your website URL, and of course, plans for conversions. And content is the information and experiences that are directed towards an end user or audience. Content like your website articles, headings, keywords in your articles, and linking, which we will discuss shortly. Let's show another poll on your screen to see how many people know how many small businesses actually invest in content marketing. Molly? So what percent of consumers go online to find a local business or service? So 97%, 50%, 25%.
Oh, this is about content marketing. So what percentage of small businesses do not invest in content marketing, and experts warn that they are missing a key marketing opportunity? Is it 80%, 65%, or 99%?
Sorry, I put the wrong one up here. Hold on one second. What percentage? There you go. There you go, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, I was just going with the flow, sorry.
No.
Well, it looks like, I think, very interesting.
I love our members. They're really on top of it. They know their stuff. That's
Yes,
awesome.
yes. So the answer is 80%.
Yep.
So that tells you that your website serves as a huge platform to deliver that content. So landing page content is an important measure to being found. From lead magnets like ebooks and newsletters to virtual tours, your website content should offer value to your prospects and their families and help you to be found through search engine optimization, also known as SEO, which Blake will speak about in just a bit. So when designing and developing a website, it's important to remember that mobile devices are more widely used today than at any time in the past. And with Google setting stricter and stricter guidelines for best practice, to be found, your website now must be mobile responsive. So 82% of smartphone shoppers also conducted near me searches. 61% of mobile searchers are most likely to contact that local business if they have a mobile friendly site. And over 51% of smartphone users have discovered a new company or product while conducting a search on their smartphone. So your residential care home should be seen on all devices that people use to search, whether it's desktop, mobile, or tablet. So your design should be user-friendly and provide a great experience for all visitors. One of the purposes of your website is to convert. So Google drives 96% of mobile search traffic, with 40% of all searches on Google that have local intent. So your optimized website should ensure your residential care home is found, increasing inquiries and building your pipeline. A website allows you to evaluate your audience, conduct analysis to determine how well you're reaching them, and build marketing and content strategies to help you gain new leads and nurture them through your sales funnel. We've come a long way from the yellow pages. A key factor to good web design is the user experience. And one of the ways we can improve the user experience is through adding interactive enhancements. So we have live chat for connecting with your visitor, proactive assistance for them, reach your customer immediately while they're on your website, real reviews to strengthen that brand, build customer loyalty, and feature your best reviews from Google, Facebook, and other outlets. And especially accessibility tools that will keep you safe from litigation, open your website to everyone to see, and boost your brand perception. With software readily accessible today, just about any website can include these standout features. So another way to enhance the user experience is to strike up a conversation. I think most everyone has seen the live chat box on a website, if not seen one, used one even. So why do we suggest that you use a live chat for your residential care home website? Oh, you can now make it easy to strike up a conversation with the visitor while they're still on your website. So you can reach your customers instantly, drive revenue and growth, build relationships, and even scale your team. Website owners using live chat have seen a 25% increase in visitor interaction, and 84% of website owners say that their overall customer interaction has improved by using chat. As you can see in the screenshot, we're using live chat on our own website, but you can choose to be offline and still receive inquiries. So there is not a missed opportunity there. To stay in touch, we recommend newsletters, interactive forums, and surveys are all good ways to positively interact with your visitors and residents, keeping you top of mind in the buyer's journey. What makes your platform great is we can seamlessly integrate other services into your website. You might recognize some of those brands there. You might already be using them. According to websitebuilder.org, 84% of people trusted online reviews as much as they trusted recommendations from friends. Also, 95% of consumers read reviews on sites such as Google and Facebook before making a purchasing decision. Therefore, collecting high quality testimonials is important to every residential care home. But we understand it can be sometimes be a long or awkward process of back and forth to get those. So we can streamline that whole process by fully automating it, saving you time, and maybe removing that little bit of awkwardness of having to ask. So once we set that up, then we stream your positive reviews to your website, whether locally or from Google or Facebook, right onto your website. Usually a webinar about the importance of having a website wouldn't touch upon this topic, but is more relevant now than ever. It's ADA compliance and website accessibility. First thing, what is web accessibility? It's a set of rules, behaviors, code standards, and design guidelines created by the World Wide Web Consortium. They call it the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. It's basically a 1,000-page guidebook explaining what accessible websites look and feel like to people with disabilities. Sounds like a lot. It is a lot. So we prefer to stay on the positive side for this webinar, but I will make a quick point. If your website isn't ADA compliant, you will be subject to litigation. 200% increase in lawsuits and demand letters from 2017 to 2018, and even since then, it's been on the rise. It's important to note, as a residential care homeowner and operator, that litigation over ADA compliance is applied to both small and large businesses. The goal is for websites to be accessible to everyone in need of a product or service, including retirement living. According to the CDC, 26% of American adults, perhaps even your prospective or future residents, are living with a disability. So it may be a bigger issue than you initially thought. Having a website that makes it easier for prospects to find you because of your ADA features, aid them given their blindness, motor mobility limitations, color blindness, or because they're aging. Having that will set you apart from your competitors, creating a better user experience and building trust for prospects that are trying to find your residential care home. And of course, no one likes to be in litigation, but even more importantly, you really want all of your visitors to be to have access to your website no matter what the disability. That's really just one more small way to show them that you care. If you want to see our ADA tool in action, it's really very clever. Read our real reviews, say hello on our live chat feature, just visit our website and you can try these out for yourself. My parting remarks are this: in the end, a website is not only an incredible tool, but most importantly, it's an extension of you and your brand and how you want people to perceive what you have to offer. And once you have this beautifully branded website, we need to make sure you're going to be found. So this is where you will need search engine optimization. I'll hand our presentation over to Blake, our SEO specialist.
Welcome everyone, it's great to be presenting for you guys tonight. We're going to go ahead and take a look into search engine optimization. And in order to understand how to be found, or how to be found works, let's examine SEO. Before we begin, let's take a quick poll that Molly will show on the screen. How many of you know what SEO is? Awesome. So it looks like 83% of you all already know what SEO is, which is great to see. So let's take a deeper dive into, what exactly is SEO. So here's our SEO process. So we like to start off with the website analysis, which will find all the SEO errors that might be holding you back. Next, going into problem correction, which is going to help us create a foundation. Go ahead and lead into keyword research. So we're going to go ahead and identify the best keywords needed to target your target market. We're going to go ahead and optimize every page so you are able to be found in Google. content development, which is the process of creating the high quality content that's going to be found on your website. Outreach, and that's going to be consisting of building backlinks, which we'll cover later on. Traffic increase, which is going to be optimizing the website for the winning keywords. And also reporting, which is going to be clear and easy to understand. Another key factor of the SEO campaign is technical optimization. A few examples we have here are page size, page speed, which in best-in-class websites should load within 3 seconds, and page requests. It's not often that a visitor comes to your website wanting to read over 100 pages of copy before making a decision. Keywords are important to search engine optimization as it helps you be found. In our final poll tonight, which Molly will show you on the screen, I'd like to ask you, what percentage of consumers go online to find a local business or local service? 97%, 50%, or 25%? So it looks like 82% of you have chose the correct answer, and that's going to be 97%. There's been more than a 900% increase in searches that contain the phrase "near me" over the past 2 years. 61% of mobile searchers are more likely to contact a local business if they have a mobile-friendly site. As we mentioned before, backlinks are another key factor when it comes to SEO. And you're probably asking yourself, what is a backlink? To keep it simple, you can look at a backlink like votes or endorsements from other websites, which builds credibility, authority, and ultimately traffic to your website. Let's go over some good backlink criteria. So we have high DA and PA, which stand for domain authority and page authority. Relevant anchor texts. Permanent, which is backlinks that cannot be easily deleted and cannot be deleted. And last but not least, do follow status, which is a link that is tagged to tell Google to pass what's called link juice. Analytics is something that many people underestimate when it comes to an SEO campaign. Knowing where your visitors are coming from, what pages they're visiting, how long they're staying on your website, and even how many of them convert helps us optimize both your website and SEO campaign to increase the ROI even more. Analytics also helps drive strategy so you can decide what marketing initiatives to employ to attract and convert future prospects. Another way to be found is to tie in your social media profiles to your website. Tonight we'll highlight just one, which is Facebook. If you want to further boost the SEO of your website, you shouldn't ignore the power of social media. Facebook can help you get high quality backlinks and increase the authority that your domain has. This can help you be on the Google's first page for certain keywords, and you can benefit from more traffic. It is also a great platform to reach your target markets to increase census and provide great content to your audience. You can read more about the stats in Facebook as a census driver in the PDF you'll receive after the presentation. With great design and development, content marketing, and an optimized site in SEO, your visitors will have a pleasant experience and give you positive reviews, which also helps your SEO. So let's review our key factors of being found. We have a well-optimized website, the high quality content that your visitors are looking for, keywords that are driving the most traffic to your site, quality backlinks, both an optimized website, SEO strategy, and analytics, the traffic, ranking on the first page, and a deep analysis in both your SEO campaign and your website month after month. So I'll hand it back to Sandra to close this out. Thank you.
Thank you, Blake. So, yay, you're found. After putting all of this together, your mission of being found online, or going from not being found and perhaps being on page 4, 5, and 6, which is very common, to being on page 1, as Blake mentioned, is achieved. And that wonderful adult child who's looking and celebrating woohoo could be your future family member who moves her mother, father, or in-laws in. Being found after considering everything we discussed is realizing your goal of attracting, converting, and retaining prospects who deserve and need your care, and who also need to know there are options to the big boxes. Just because the big boxes have mega budgets to advertise on every channel online and off doesn't mean that there isn't a need for your wonderful residential care home. Once found, you're one step closer to achieving 100% occupancy and building a wait list. And so we want to thank you for your time this evening and would like to answer any questions that you may have at this time.
I also want to say, I just feel like also another part to this, here, I'll turn my camera. Another part to this is that people don't realize that they can get a website and a mobile site, right? You're not just getting a website on the computer. This is something I didn't learn until I was here, really, is that your website may not always work mobile, right? So you may think you can create a templated website on your own and it works online and it works great on your computer, right? But then when someone who is the majority of people with their phone looks through your website and it doesn't work, or it has the words in the wrong place, or there's links that don't work, it's very frustrating. And then they'll just move on, like you said, because it takes a 1/10 of a second. So, oh, we have another question that came in.
That's absolutely right. And, you know, oftentimes, and that's where the analytics, Molly, that Blake was speaking about, when you have Google Analytics, you're actually able to track the devices people are using to find you. And that way you can actually optimize your marketing tactics or initiatives. Oftentimes you may find there's a really close, almost 50-50 split between desktop and mobile. But if you're missing the 50% because your website is not mobile responsive, can you think about how many leads you're actually missing out on and how many inquiries you're not capitalizing on receiving because your website really can't be found online. So I don't know, Meredith, if you have more to say about that and being mobile responsive, and why we touched on it, highlighted a lot of things tonight, so it's not to be overwhelming, but it is truly very important.
Yes, it has become more important, actually more important every year. I did mention about Google having their guidelines, and they are the leader. So that's pretty much, if you want to be found, you have to comply with what they're asking for. And sometimes it sends the designers and developers scrambling when they change their rules. So it's something that we need to keep up with. I keep up with for our customers, and we just have to make sure that we build within the compliance that they ask for. Company like a year ago, they changed over, and it was confirmed that if you didn't have a secure certificate for your website, that's when you go to a site and it has HTTPS. If you didn't have that, browsers weren't going to open your website. So if anyone even has that right now, that's the first thing you want to do, is get that installed right away, because if you're on a phone, the browser won't even allow you to access that website, even if it's perfectly fine, but without that certificate. So there's a lot of things that you have to take into consideration, and mobile is one of them. If you're not mobile friendly, Google is going to push your site all the way down to, who knows, page 5, page 6, and you're definitely not going to be found way back there, unfortunately. So it's very important. It really is.
Thank you,
We just
Meredith.
had a great question come in, and it says, how do you test your website if it's Section 508 compliant?
How do you what, Molly? I'm sorry.
How do you test your website to see if it's Section 508 compliant?
Meredith, that's
You're
you?
talking about ADA compliant.
88.
Right, right. Well, there are services out there that you can, some of them even offer like a free audit, and that will give you some feedback. What we do is we have a service where we can run that and have a certificate, an audit come back, and it will let you know areas that you need help with, and then we can go in and fix that. And then the tool that we were showcasing tonight, we install it on your website, and that's where you anybody that can come can pop open that window. It's like on our site, it's the little blue circle in the corner, and that could allow sometimes handmade, hand done coding will allow you to change colors, maybe to black and white or switch, but not everybody can use that, those color combinations. This way, it's completely visitor has complete control of the colors, the sizes, the fonts, just about anything that you can think of. So as far as compliance, having that tool, that covers, I had a list on there of all the different guidelines that you have to adhere to.
Yeah, website
Hope,
ADA compliance is huge, and honestly, 98% of the sites don't meet 100% of the compliance because of well, a myriad of reasons. And so when you, for example, I have on there our website, and you can go and you can see, if you log on right now during this presentation and look at our website on your phone, you'll see that interactive tool in the left-hand corner. It's someone in a wheelchair to signify ADA needs or compliance. It allows you to be able to, if you're colorblind or if, you know, as aging eyes, they can't read red, you're able to do so many things that will help that increase the font, help it be more user-friendly. And then it remembers you the next time you come around to visit that website. So if someone comes back to visit you and they haven't quite made up their mind the first time and they're just researching, so they revisit your website, it will remember their selections because it updates every 24 hours, and it will show them the website based on the preferences they previously selected. And we actually will give you an audit report that shows you're 100% compliant. Now, about 5 years ago, when I was VPSM, over 3 large CCRCs, needless to say, we paid a lot of money to a lawyer to get this done, because when the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, was passed, many residential care homes, many CCRCs, senior living in general, did not know that a huge component of this by law was ADA compliance, to make sure your website's compliant. One of those things, for example, that we didn't touch upon tonight was making sure your facility number, your AL number, is actually listed on your website. So your license number has to be on there by law. Another marketing rule that you may not know of is that your residential care home, the images that you show, has to represent the community, the greater community in which you are residing. So if you're, let's say, in Brooklyn, New York, it's not just your community in Brooklyn, but it is, what do the people in Brooklyn look like? So if there are 16 different nationalities, does your site represent the majority of the people who live there? And so what we try to find a healthy balance is a mix between real images that are of your own residents and stock images if you do not have a resident that represent necessarily that ethnic group, to make sure that you're compliant. So a lot goes into compliance. And to make sure that you are compliant, as Meredith said, we do an audit, we give you an audit report, and it shows exactly where you're not meeting cutting mustard, for example, and then we work on and help fix all the things that you need to do at a much more reasonable price than, you know, I paid for the lawyer exam, for example, so that we can bring you up to compliant. Because as Meredith, well, she has an anecdotal story about a salon owner who was actually sued. And it doesn't matter the size of your business. The goal is that everyone who has an ADA need can have the same opportunities to find you despite their limitations that someone who is not limited by mobility or sight can, and affording everyone that same chance? That's a great question, by the way. Thank you for it. Are there any other questions?
Yes. The next one says, do you offer various packages that match specific business customers' needs, and what are your prices?
Yes, that's actually a great question. We do have several packages. We actually worked with Molly and her amazing team to vet all of our pricing and services to make sure that it is actually a need for your members. And so we're happy to send that along to you for your review, as well as in this little box you see where talk with us. If you want to discuss your specific needs, we can also customize a package for you if it's not listed on there, and you just select a date and a time, and then we send you immediately a go-to-meeting link, and we can have a free 30-minute consultation with you. Even if you don't select our service, our goal is to be of service to you. As we say, we've walked in your shoes, and just having some advice and some information is so very helpful in making sure that you're found, you can meet the needs of your current residents, meet the needs of your future residents, but you're working really hard to leave a legacy. And so we want to make sure that we help you protect that, whether you have one property or you're multi-property. So our packages try to take into consideration all of that. And as I mentioned, they're vetted by Molly and RALNA team, and we're happy to provide that to you. I apologize that we didn't tonight, but we can definitely send that to you along with the presentation. And if we don't have something there that meets your needs or that is specifically what you're looking for, please feel free in general to sign up for or give us a call, and we're happy to mention that to you or address that.
And so real quick before we wrap things up, can you just give a checklist of things that you do? Because I know just before this started, we were talking about you talking to people about tour optimizations, right? Touring in your home. There's so much more that Sandra and her team knows that she didn't cover because there's just so much information, right?
Yeah.
So let's just a quick checklist of things that you can help people with, right? Just go down the line of things that you guys do.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Molly. One of the things that we briefly mentioned was sales coaching. Under that umbrella, it's so important because you could, let's say you do have a website and we're integrating all of these wonderful features and people are going to your site and everything that Blake and Meredith has done or your current provider is doing, and you're still saying, what's going on? I'm not, converting. People are not moving into our community. It could be that you're ticking all of those boxes on the back end to make that phone ring, but you're losing it at the inquiry stage. And so one of the things we do is help you understand and walk through discovery. And it's something that's really taken for granted where people think, oh, I'm just going to answer the phone, and you perceive it more as an intake, and it's not. It's really the first step at relationship building. And our goal when we come in, we do a mystery shop either by phone or in person. And we give a grade. We test on where are you in the discovery process. And then based on that, we see where the areas of opportunities are to help you learn how to build rapport, how to build value, and how to connect the services and amenities that you offer to that, not just the needs, but the need behind that need of that adult child or that senior who are looking for you. And 100% of the time, every community I've worked with, the sales managers and marketing directors I've trained, when we narrow down on opportunities where we can build better discovery, we've increased our conversion rates from inquiry to tour and tour to deposit. Because having a tour isn't just showing them their apartment or this is where you're going to eat. It's about building relationships. That dining room is where your mom or dad or you yourself are going to build relationships. It's where you're going to socialize. It's where you're going to have fun. So it's an experience. And so that's part of what we teach, especially if you have residents. And let's face it, and even in the independent living communities, over 80% of the seniors, especially those that are age in place, have some sort of memory deficit. So we do really great training on dementia and what it's like to talk to an adult child or that prospective resident who may be suffering from memory care. And they're still a great ideal resident after doing an assessment. They're still a great resident for your community, but you need to know how to really sell to them or market to them and convert over the phone or in person. And so that's a lot of online training that we do as well. in addition to what we covered tonight with SEO and analytics, public relations and media is huge, whether it's online or off. So we connect in your local market with your local news stations, with your paper, and we use a lot of really great stories, those human interest stories. We know in your area who that reporter is that covers those human interest stories and beats. And we have a content calendar that we pitch to them in advance. And when we've done this for our clients, they always get written up. So imagine paying, and I have paid for larger communities, $10,000 for an ad to appear one time. When you have a human interest story that really gets into the heart of a great resident, but the impact your community has made on that resident's life with quotes from friends or family member, that's great. And then we, in the backlinks, put that on your website, link to that newspaper or that publication links to you, and that's a really great way to be found too. But we make sure that we go after the periodicals, the online platforms, the writers that really can help bring awareness, the influencers to you, and that's again through public relations and media, online and off. And then website development and analytics. So the analytics that we talk about has to do with an integrated strategy. So for all of our clients, we have an integrated strategy that we develop over the course of a year. So let's say you're in San Antonio, Texas, for example, which is where I live. And in San Antonio, I can tell you what your primary to tertiary market area is. But because we're a consulting firm, we have access to real life data that's updated every 30 days, and I can pull information based on the filters. What are if your monthly rent, for example, is $3,500 a month, we don't want to just generically go after 10,000 people who may live in your PMA just because they're 65. If your average age resident is 72, then the 65-year-old may not move into your community. So what we do is we come up with a strategy based on age and income qualifiers. Can this individual afford living in your community, not just for now, but 3 to 5 years from now? And we put together a strategy that helps to market to them, including content online and off, direct mail, email campaigns that help to bring them in your door and help convert them to a future resident. And so that's very strategic. We look at the analytics and say, wow, if you've got people who are female, predominantly 84, in this tertiary area who live 20 minutes outside of your town or city, they're the ones that are looking at your website the most. We are missing an opportunity to market to them. So we'll integrate with, let's say, Facebook and do an A/B test campaign that will attract them to visiting your community. So there's a lot more that we do than just website development that all folds in together. And that's what I like to help clients understand. You can do a lot to make your phone ring, but if you're missing on the back end really wonderful, warm staff that really know how to conduct discovery, that can ask for that deposit, then you're just throwing money out the door. And like we said when we first started, every marketing dollar has to tie back to an ROI. It's what you work hard for, and it's what your residents deserve. So that's just some of the services that we offer. And if you feel that that meets any of your needs, we're happy to be of service to discuss that with you further as well.
Perfect. Yeah. And like she said, I will send over not only this presentation, but the packages that she's come up with specifically for our group and understanding what you guys need. The last question here, Sandra says, can you clarify who responds in the live chats? And is that something that you do for your customers?
That's a really great question. Presently, we don't do that for our customers, but we can. I actually have a residential care home that caters to dementia care residents that's opening a brand new community. And I'm actually going to be taking on his live chats in the fall because as an owner operator wearing many hats, as we talked about in the beginning, he cannot. So in the fall, we'll be taking that over. But as Meredith alluded to, if you don't have the human capacity, the resources to answer those live chats, then having an offline chat is still going to help you to convert, because what you didn't see is that you will get an automatic email, and that email will say you have an inquiry. And so it allows you to respond still in real time. So I don't want anyone to get discouraged that I don't have the support staff, because their number one concern is resident care 100% of the time. So you want to make sure that they are dedicated to that, but they're still effective conducting that tour or calling or handling that call when they do call in. So if you have that chat feature and it's offline, rest assured, you can still, as long as you've got someone answering that email in real time, you can respond to them quickly so that they don't move on to that next residential care home or that next big box chain. But if you have an online feature and you, as an online chat, live chat, we'd be happy to, down the road, if that's something that you want, handle that for you as well.
Perfect. Like I said, you guys, this has been the first, I would say the first marketing consulting group that I've worked with, and just the conversations that Sandra and I've had, because I just met Blake and Meredith today. So with Sandra specifically, she's extremely kind and she understands the industry, and she's going to relate to you, and she's going to portray that caring nature that she has in herself for you to portray to your residents and the people that are going to come into your community. So I really, really appreciate you guys coming here today with me, and I cannot wait to see the results from people starting to work with you guys.
Thank you, Molly. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And thank you everyone for joining us tonight. We value your time. You know, you've had a really hard day and you want to get home to your families and wrap up anything at your communities to make sure your residents are okay before heading out tonight. So thank you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Molly. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.